All right, guys, what's going on? So Pete's back. Only means one thing. We did Paris to Ancaster. I'm still wrecked from an unrelated crash after the fact. Riding into work. I'm not going to explain more. There's another video you can watch about that. But let's just break the news now. You've got news.
I absolutely destroyed him. It was a great day. I think you may hear it at the start where I kind of said to Josh secretly I was training all winter long to leave him at the start gate. And it wasn't right at the start gate, but it was pretty close too. And yeah, it was just a good day of working hard. I've been training all year to just draw the first turn. So I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Oh, I'd be going for it. If you did that, oh, I'd be going for it right away.
Max sprint right off the start.
Oh, yeah.
You fucking right.
Yeah, here we go.
The legs felt it, was miserable, barely made it up the final climb, but we'll kind of go through some of the details of the race and kind of some spots that we kind of think were the make or break points of why I actually beat Josh by that much, because I don't think it was all down to fitness. I kind of got ahead of some of the slower traffic, and I didn't get held up on certain parts of the race, which I think helped me out a lot.
It's twice the size of me, that's why.
You got to use those elbows on race day. You got to make room for yourself.
So what was like, starting off, you hadn't done the race in like 2 years, right? So
Right, yeah, it was a long time. I really didn't know much to expect. I just knew that there was a lot of road and I needed to maximize all the time I could following faster people. So like you tend at the mass start races, people like want to gun it at the beginning. So I just kept trying to get behind each person that wanted to go faster than me and get some free KPHs, and that's pretty much was my whole goal. The whole race was just if somebody was going faster, get on their wheel, follow them as long as I could. And towards about halfway through the race, I found a group of guys that all wanted to work together, and we had a little echelon going, and I think that was a huge contributor to like why I was able to gain some speed, because man, we were cruising at like 34K an hour for quite a long time, and it was pretty easy over some pretty rough terrain.
I mean, like it was the first like 10, 15 minutes that I did actually hang with you for a bit, and then it was just like trying to get by people, and I found that first like uphill just absolutely killed me, because that you just watch you drop me so quickly. And I was like, I was going at a comfortable speed where I knew I was still going to beat my old record.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to like gas myself so early. I was like, I knew that you had been training way harder than you let on. And like I've been on my bike 6 times before the race had actually happened. So I was like, I'm not going to gas myself right away to like, ruin my own time to try and keep up. But I mean, like going through again, we held, I don't know, like let's just take a look at the first bit of the race. We were crushing it at like 42 kilometers per hour for the first. Yeah,
just play the start though, like right from the beginning when we cruised through, because like this is the one portion where I think we lost a lot of time on the leaders too, is not being as close as you can to the start finish line, and you can see how far back we are. And by the time we got out to even on the first road section, the people that won the race, they were already like half a kilometer ahead of us. And there's no way you're going to make up that kind of pace when these guys are just in shape.
Yeah, so I mean, if you don't start right at the start line, you're not getting there.
You're not getting
there, because it's just, we're at sardines right now. We're only we're 18 seconds into the video
and these guys are full gas right now. They're sprinting out of the starts.
Yeah, they're gone. So I mean, like where we started in the pack, we talked about getting there earlier, and then we just
completely freeloaded away around and took our time, but it's all good.
But I mean, even coming out of here, we're already at 35K an hour at like 40 seconds in, and it's, we're hauling ass until you get to the first turn coming out of the parking lot, and everyone throws on the brakes.
Yeah, and this was my biggest fear out of like the start of the race, is why I wanted to get so before we started, I was training to do a sprint at the start. So for a lot of my rides up and coming to this race, I knew that for the first 2-3 kilometers, I wanted to have like a pre-race sprint where I know I could carry 40K an hour for 3K and then just push it and then back off to my comfortable pace. And that's kind of what we're doing here, is I wanted to get out, put the gas down, and then pull back and kind of get into my recovery and just like pace it out. And that's what we try to do here.
Yeah, so I mean, like that first stretch, we're like, minute and a half in now, and I'm just like, I'm on your tail, and I held it there for a bit, but then again, once we get out onto, I don't know what road it is, but let's see if we can pull up here. But yeah, like we held our speed 9
I think it was
minutes.
just before this. This is right where I kind of started.
Yeah, you pulled away at 8 minutes 22 seconds. You were gone. Like where? Yeah, you're way up at that point.
You can pull it back and watch it again if you want.
The rest of the hill.
You know,
as soon as he got over the other side,
you're missing the best part of the race. Really, that's where like I was working towards that. Really.
Yeah, you peaked early.
No,
I was
but
going a comfortable 30k an hour according to the GoPro and my phone GPS. Not totally accurate, but I mean like. I was going at a comfortable pace and passing lots of people, so I was good with that.
But at that point there was a group of 3 guys that were coming up, passing us on our left, and they were moving at a pretty good pace. There's a guy at the front of the line, big boy, and he was hauling. And so as soon as I saw them I looked over my shoulder, saw they were coming, and then I started accelerating to try to get on their wheel. And that's where I kind of lost Josh, and I just wanted to stay on their wheel and get those free watts. Like anytime you can stay out of the wind and you're just traveling easy, and that was like the entire race. Just stay out of the wind, conserve the legs, and
that's where I'm the worst. I get impatient riding behind anyone, and I just like to punish myself. So I will always, no matter what, like if I'm behind someone, I'm like I'm not going fast enough.
Yeah.
So like I don't hang behind them and conserve anything. I just like will be like, nope, you're going too slow, and I'll just keep grinding it out. Which I mean, like for 40K, I can do that.
Yeah.
But it definitely hurt me in the long run because, I mean, you'll see a little bit further on. There's a kid that was, I keep saying he's 13, but he was in the age category of 11 to 15, and he just held on to me the entire time because he was smart.
Yeah, he was.
And
he followed you.
Yeah, just followed me and just stayed right in my draft. And, I mean, he kept going. So, I mean, I don't know how far in we were when we first ran into him, but
yeah.
Where we were, right. So the first grass section that you get into on the 40K too, like that was the first time that you felt any energy being zapped out of you. How did you feel at that point? So
I felt pretty good at that point. I think I found my rhythm. I pulled it back, and I wasn't like pushing it too hard, but I just kind of wanted to keep that momentum going. This stuff is like Velcro on some of these tires. You just feel it sucking the life out of you, and it's almost trying to not go too hard.
Yeah.
It's like, you keep your momentum going and get through it, but I wasn't trying to push the legs too hard. And, I'm pretty lucky, like having the computer on and knowing my speed and some of my stats, it helps a lot to pace yourself because you kind of know, like, okay, I'm above my average speed. I know I'm continuing on. I don't need to push it here. I can wait until there's a better opportunity to push those because there's only so many sprints you have in the legs.
No, exactly. I mean, you can see people are already like getting dropped because their chains are dropping or this guy's got a whole pack on him.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking he was riding for, but coming through there, I mean, yeah, that's the first initial bit of P-Day that you have to experience, right? So
line choice and not braking. If you don't cross the finish line, it's like, it was all for nothing. So you got to take care of the equipment.
Yeah, it's all like risk versus reward and seeing where you actually want to risk it. I was dumb and I went and I risked it right away. There's the family that always has this little jump that's set up for the race.
Oh, right here, yeah.
Kids are always so pumped to see it, so I'm like, okay, I got to do it. But luckily, no flats, nothing there. So
I saw that and just saw a pinch flat in my future, so I just went by it.
Yeah, that's the one benefit of being only 180 pounds versus the 220.
I weighed myself, like I was in the 220 category, but I wasn't really sure like where I was at for the race.
Yeah, because you're going for the Clydesdale.
Yeah, the Clydesdale. Yeah. So the 2 days after the race, I actually weighed myself and I was 229. So I wasn't cheating. I was above the weight.
You were definitely above the weight.
I was above the weight, but I probably won't go in that category again.
Oh, you think you're gonna drop that much, or
no? I just want to go in because like when you go in the Clydesdale, they don't put you in the age group category. So I think I would like next year would like to be in the age group.
Yeah, definitely means more than the
way more. Yeah, like that was like kind of my strategy was completely different. I was ready to like completely blow up with 10K left because I just left it all out there. I was like, I'm either gonna make it or I'm not. Let's see what happens.
For sure, yeah. Well, I mean, I kept expecting to run into you at some point blowing up, but I just definitely it never happened, and I just had to race my own race at that point.
Yeah, like this is great. She's cooking.
Yeah,
just sit in her draft and just let her tow you along.
I sat back there for a bit, but this is like a tough section too. In past years, like we had I think it was the Windpocalypse year that everyone was calling it because you were there.
Yeah, that's the year I raced it. It was awful.
So no, was it were you in that race when they cut down the trees? Was that the same race?
No, that was the year I think after.
It was the year. Okay, so that was just last year.
Maybe that was last year because I didn't do that. I didn't race it that year.
That happened. So there's the one year where someone cut down a bunch of trees and it blocked everyone up. And then last year, the drama was the fact that people pre-rode the course. So they actually had to cut sections of the course out because people were dicks and rode it before then. And private landowners said, no, you're not coming out. So luckily, nothing big this year.
I don't know. It kind of worked out because that portion of the course sucked.
It did. It actually did.
It was like it was just enough for each of your tires to sit in the little whoops.
Yeah.
And you couldn't really pedal through it. It was just
work through your pedal stroke.
It was an awful section, a little farmer's field that just got trenched out for corn. It was miserable. I'm glad they took it out, to be honest. So thank you to whoever rode that course and had them take it out because it worked out to our advantage.
100%, but don't do it again. So then we came up to, this is our first rail trail section at 19, 20.
Yeah, this is pretty big rocks here. This is a pretty good chunks of gravel. If you're not in that one race line, give me a little more work.
If you're not wearing sunglasses too, you could get one of those right in the face. Oakley video coming up soon.
Yeah.
Just casual dropping that in there.
Why you don't buy shitty cheap sunglasses?
Okay, so we're at the first.
Don't do it.
We're at the first real mud chute, I guess. It's not even a real one. I don't even think they classify this.
No, I don't even think it's a part. It's just one of those sections. But they had two routes you could take. One was the mud chute, and the other one over an overpass bridge. And you kind of walk down the other side. Well, you could ride it, but it gets backed up here. And these are those points where you can kind of see, if when we go to my footage, the amount of the difference in the amount of people you start to deal with just being kind of getting out of the way is huge. You need to start as far to the front as you possibly can.
Yeah, so I'll pause it right here because this was my first huge mistake that I made, and I think a lot of people did because the reason I made it was I saw a wall of people turning around at me.
Yeah.
But that first tiny little mud chute, there was an alternate route that you could actually go across a bridge and then drop down the other.
That's the way I took because I couldn't.
Which is new. That I don't remember that from past races.
Yeah.
If it's not, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. But I had never seen that alternate route. And then I actually hopped off my bike and ran it back and almost took a guy out, basically going through the mud. And I lost, 45 seconds to a minute, maybe 2 minutes there. And that just absolutely killed me. You just took the alternate route.
Well, I was passing on the left-hand side where you guys were here, and I looked over and saw the mud chute. I was like, well, I'm not turning around now. I've kind of committed, and I was prepared to get out and run it anyways because I didn't want to get my bike too dirty too soon because you get clogged down with mud and it zaps energy out of you. So I was kind of planning on keeping the bike clean for that first one anyways. And so I was like, well, I'm committed. I'm going to just jump off. I ran down the hill, jumped on, and man, did I not having a dirty bike for those next 10K.
I ran my bike through it, so... yeah, I mean, I still made it through fairly clean because I just picked my bike and ran it. It was just, soupy. There was no point trying to even ride it.
Yeah.
So our first wooded section was, at 31 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
And this was, again, another one of those kind of points that you're in the P.A. because you go through the single track, and there's not a ton of single track in it.
No, there's not.
But I'm riding right next to a guy with a fat bike, and this guy is just floating through everything. And you got your gravel cross bikes with a 33C tire, and you just bury into everything.
Yeah, you just sink right down to the.
How did you feel at that section?
Honestly, it felt a little bit like Velcro again. You're pedaling and it feels harder than it should be, but there's tons of traction and you're getting through it. It's just a matter of committing to your line and pedaling through it and just accepting that it's going to be a little muggy for a bit.
It's 100% line choice.
Yeah, it's 100% line choice. And you see a lot of people, they think that they're going to stay out of the water coming up here and have a better line. And you just, it's funny once you see the water and it's just it's almost like you're going down below the mud and into the rock.
Yeah.
And it's actually, you have more traction and it's easier to ride on, but it looks worse.
Yeah.
So you just kind of you find these little spots where you can gain a lot of time.
Yeah. You guys are learning classic tips from weekend warrior riders here.
Yeah, it's so true.
Don't listen to GCN. They don't know what they're talking about. Listen to us. But so that was the big thing that I found too. The waterier, the more watery the mud is.
Yeah.
The wetter the mud is, the easier it is to ride through it. So everyone was going for that high side.
It's you think of a puddle. You don't mind ripping through a puddle when it's wet, but this mud is just it clogs up your tires. You can't get them clear when you get onto the road.
If you're riding with road shoes, it can be pretty difficult too.
Yeah, I don't know who would do that here. It was.
I'm sure there were a few guys
that were
for it, but so definitely when you do a race like this, go for the watery mud because if it looks thick on the other side, you're making more work for yourself.
Yeah.
So after we got through that section, we had a bit of dry single track and back out onto the road. There's just the odd pothole they had to look out for.
Man, I hit a couple bad ones. I was like,
Seriously?
just rattled my bones. I just was, because I was drafting like with a group, like I think it was probably maybe just a little after this time, I found a group, another 3 guys that were all kind of working together. And man, it saved the legs a ton, but I was like tight in the draft. I was the 4th one back, and they all just swerved out of nowhere, and I just smashed this pothole. And I just gave the bike a quick check. Glad I didn't puncture. And I'm just like, oh, from then on, I was kind of sticking my head out a little bit more to see what was going on. But there was a couple times where I was nervous about breaking the rig.
Because you just get tunnel vision, right? Like you're just like,
oh, you're burying your head. You're just pumping the legs. You're like, I didn't want to lose them because I knew once I lost that wheel, like my race was essentially done. Because you're not catching back up, and then it's just demoralizing when your speed drops by like 6-7 kilometers an hour, and you're like, there's nothing left. Yeah, and I really think like me and Josh talked about this before, and I think the fitness level wasn't a huge thing that why I won. I think I had a little bit of a strategy on what I wanted to do beforehand, and I kind of stuck to that, and I saved as much energy as I could hiding behind people that were fast, and I just followed them as much as I could. And you know, and getting in and out of turns is like I find where you carry and save the most energy. Because you see a lot of the biggest thing, you see everybody out there doing it. They see a turn coming up, they sit up, they grab on their hoods, and they slam on the brakes, and they coast through, and then they try to like sprint out of the corner like a maniac. When you could just, you know, just pick your line, take it a little wide, and coast through the corner. You maybe lose 1.5 K, and then it doesn't take as much wattage to bring yourself back up, and you save the legs there. And you can see like most of the people make that mistake. And I watched, actually, I'll do a shout out to Trainer Road, because I watched a few of their like pre-race tip videos where they go and have a pro teach you about like how to like techniques and stuff. And man, some of these small things you don't realize, they just add up. Incremental gains of saving the legs. And it makes a big difference at the end of the day.
So I'm not laughing at him right now, but I think you're realizing what the difference was in the winning of the race. This guy buries his head in a research on the technique and everything. I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna pump my legs as hard as
I gotta punish myself. I'm gonna absolutely punish myself, and you did.
I punished myself.
I punished myself too. I just tried to do it behind somebody else. I remember a couple of times I kept riding up, and I'd find a big wind sail bigger than me, and I just hang out there for a second, and be like, hey buddy, don't mind me. I'm just gonna sit on here for a little bit. And when I saw somebody ready to pass him, I jumped on their wheel, and you know, no friends on race day.
That's right. There's no friends on race day. So when Pete's up there strategizing, I'm back at 53 minutes and how many kilometers? I don't even know how many kilometers in because this thing doesn't tell you. But going 25K an hour, and I see this kid that, again, like he's in the 11 to 15 category. And the first thing I said to him, I saw his Viper shades, his Pit Vipers. I was like, hey man, those are sweet shades. I don't know what triggered it in him, but he was just like, this guy's making fun of my sunglasses or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat him.
Held my ass the entire race. I'm 30 years old, just getting absolutely, like, this guy is right on me. I'm going, this kid is like 13 years old. How can I not dust him? Like, it was just insane. So I forget. I think it's William. He came in. What place did I come in? I came in 42nd or 43rd.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's like 5 seconds behind me, and it was just, I was blown away.
Yeah.
This kid just like held me. Because I kept thinking it was an adult behind me, so I'm like, hey, like, I'm done for a bit. I'll draft off you now. And this kid never responded to me. He just held my tail the entire time. It was hilarious. So good on him.
See that tarp? Is that the same as the kid?
It might be, yeah.
Because I swear I was riding. I was riding behind it. I think it was his dad or.
It definitely is.
Yeah, because I remember we hit that one road section, and he was like freaking in a full-on sprint by me, and I'm like, who is this guy? But I'm gonna see if I can follow him. And every time he went to pull through, he pulled through like an animal, and I'm like,
seriously?
Like every time it was his turn in the echelon, it's just like he was trying to drop everybody, and we were just like too stubborn to let him drop us, but it was hurting me.
All right, well, this was actually like a pretty good spot here too, because this was, I don't know how you found this section, but once we came out onto, I think it's Highway 2.
Yep.
This is Highway 2, right?
Yeah, there's like a little uphill, and it had a little bit of a gust.
Super gradual uphill, but I'm watching people punish themselves going up the pavement, and this is like, totally, this was just me thinking in my head. I think I was just like a little crazy at this point. But I'm like, you know what? The dark road absorbs more heat. It's going to get softer. I'm going to stay on the lighter part of the concrete or the asphalt here. I'm definitely going to go faster. I think I just stayed more of a consistent speed the whole way through. But you said you stayed on the white line. The white line reflects even more, which makes it even go.
Yeah, no, the white line, I just find there's less like anytime you can ride on the paint strips, it's smoother.
Yeah.
So it's just less rolling resistance as much as I could.
I'm not totally crazy then. I didn't like at this point I knew my legs were really getting gassed. I like had enough to keep going, but I also knew to just stay right on that white line. It wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like
it's the only thing here is like you're all out in the wind by yourself.
yeah.
And it's moments like this where it's if you can tuck in just a tad bit, but,
For sure.
but you're passing them.
And that was the thing. Like everyone started off on that hill and they just gunned it right by me, and then I just slowly crept by and just kept it going.
Yeah, it's like not even much of a hill. It's just that false flat where you're just kind of dragging up a hill into a headwind, and it's just doesn't feel like you're going anywhere.
Yeah. The Highway 2 was new last year. I think it wasn't around before then, because I don't know if you never raced this one before, right? Because this is only your.
I think this section was in when I raced 2 years ago.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't remember that. That was just such a miserable race with the wind.
It was awful.
And we both had like full rain jackets. We were like
like big flappy jackets. Like we're talking like using a running jacket, which is just like just billowed out and you're friggin' unzipped. And I remember wearing baggy shorts and
you had the soccer socks.
I had soccer socks on. It was absolutely like just awful.
Yeah.
It's everything you shouldn't do before you go into a race on a windy day. I did.
26-inch mountain bike tires too, though.
Yeah.
That was my last race doing a mountain bike too. So I was on my stepdad's Karakoram, it was a 29er mountain bike too. It was only like a $700 mountain bike, which is it's a decent bike.
Yeah.
But I mean, still.
It's not right for this race. Like you can do it.
Yeah. For
you
sure.
can do it, and you see some guys on XC mountain bikes, and they're putting pedals. Yeah, they're powering it.
And he was crushing it for sure. I think I eventually passed him, but.
It's just it zaps you on the pavement. Yeah. Like that's just the only time. Like anytime you're on a gravel loose surface, these guys are flying, and you just see them slow down on some of the straights. But you race with whatever you got. It's better to be out there than not.
Well, I mean, you're always just out there to beat your own.
Yeah, it's just out there to beat yourself, right?
Yeah. For us, we're not going out there to win.
No, definitely not. Just
the guys that win this, they spend their winters in Europe and wherever else where it's warm. Arizona.
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is a pretty long stretch.
This is a really long stretch. And this is where I found having that group of 3 other guys really helped me out because, there's a lot of people that you're catching up to from the 70K, and they're gassed at this point, so they're kind of over to the side, and just having that extra help to keep you out of the wind, and when you start passing these people, it kind of makes a section go by a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I just kept punishing myself at this point.
Sometimes that's all you can do if you're like.
There was, I think, so I'm trying to catch up to this group at, 124. I catch up to them, and again, this kid is still on my ass the
whole time, eh?
He was just quiet. He was like a ninja. He just didn't say anything. He just conserved all of his energy and just kept.
He was just like coming up with how he was going to beat you. Like
I'm going 28 to 32 kilometers an hour, and this 13-year-old kid is just crushing it. So finally, I caught up, and again, like I'm just passing everyone here. Like I just tried to punish myself, and I think when I got to the head of this group, there was a guy who asked, he's like, "Do you want to go it alone or do you want help?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll take some help."
Yeah.
I didn't really feel like I got a ton of help, but because I ended up staying at the front of it. But,
and that's.
Again, I just strategy wasn't really my thing, but I also found there's that speed where you feel like they may be going just a little bit too slow.
And you know what? If they're not pulling through and they're not really doing the amount of work you want anyways, it's just like, well, you know what? I'd rather be on my own at this point than give you a free drag.
These guys here, and I think you know what they did kind of pull up, but I always feel a little bit awkward when I'm in a group. I get this. I don't know. Yeah, it was just like there's 4 of us together, but this guy on a fat bike just blew through us, and he just kept going. So like, okay, I should at least keep up with this guy.
Yeah,
he's moving with that thing. It's hilarious. Listen to those tires.
Man, it just sounds painful.
It sounds painful.
You can hear them coming up from a mile away. Whoa. You're just like, man, I just want to
just nonstop.
I just want to appall it. I just feel bad for them. You come to the end of the race and they're just like.
Hey, they signed up for it.
They did, and right? You know what? All the power to them.
So it looks like I'm a little out of order here. I may have, because we go from this and jump straight in. It was in order when we watched it earlier, but.
It's all right.
Where was this supposed to be?
Oh, this is the mud chute that I ended up losing my cleat.
Okay,
I believe.
Tell us about this.
So this is the one right before you get pressure washed, right?
I think so. This was the first of 2 major mud shoots. I think.
Yeah. So I was coming through here, and I didn't check my cleats before the day. Like these are, I was using my like an old trail shoe that I had, and I borrowed a set of like
My Trail XTs.
The Trail XTs off of you just for this race. Yeah. I didn't check my cleats, which big mistake. This could have like almost ruined me. We came up to this section and kind of got bogged down. I went to unclip, and my left foot was not coming unclipped. The cleat was just spinning and spinning and spinning. I ended up falling over. I was like a turtle on a shell. I was just like kicking. I couldn't get up, and I ended up getting back onto my feet. I was skating my bike on one pedal because I couldn't come unclipped, and I eventually just ripped it off. And this was like, I don't know what time we're at here. You're at
131 for me.
131. So, you know, you're at 7 or 8K left from the finish, and I only had one foot that could clip in, and there's maybe 2 mud sections left in the Martin Road climb, and I was thinking, what am I going to do? Like my foot's just sliding all over the place, and I was just had to bury down. It would just
and just
figure it out.
At this point, well, at the beginning of the race, the one thing that I always forget one thing, the camera equipment, was a thumb screw to actually mount the GoPro onto your bike.
Yeah.
So, quick tip, if you forget that and you happen to still have a bottle cage screw, it's the exact same size, so you can screw that in there.
Yeah.
Worked out well because I went in my little pouch, went and looked for one, screwed that on. The only thing was that we didn't tighten it down enough.
Yeah.
So the GoPro you might see it'll flop around and there's more vibration in that one.
Yeah.
And then I think when it flopped down, it lost the battery bank connector and just lost battery. So
ended up
unfortunately,
dying.
we didn't see any like the good stuff from you.
Yeah, no, all the exciting stuff happened like the last 10K when I fell over, lost my cleat, and it was like I was a little bit worried, and then I ended up finding a spot where, luckily enough, the XT, the pedal had a little bit more of a platform around the outside, so I kind of found a sweet spot where, as long as I stayed on top of the gear, I was okay. So I kind of had to gear down. I had to kind of push a little bit of a heavier gear just so I didn't like kind of overspin it and lose the pedal.
To have your pedal, that was a saving grace.
Yeah, it was, honestly.
I wish they were smaller.
Oh man, I was worried. I was really worried because there's a lot of bumpy sections coming up, and that one mud chute I rode down with I found there was a guy in front of me and he was cooking. I'm like, well, I'm just going to follow his line. Worst case, he bails and I hit him, and it happens. But yeah, I was able to hold on, and I think that was I was kind of, after that point, I was like, you know what, I'm good enough here. Like, at least I can, if I could have stood through that, then we can figure it out from here.
My game plan from the beginning was to run through those sections because I always, for whatever reason, I always end up in a crowd in those things, and there's never a chance for me to really ride it. And then I always find the first half, if you don't have the momentum, you're gonna get because again, especially with those GT grades, the max tire size you can go is a 33 realistic.
Oh man, and
because there's no mud.
And it started packing in there quick.
Yeah.
After the race, I was pulling out strings from the head tube. It was just packed the whole head tube full of friggin' mud and grass, and yeah, it would be nice to have a little bit more tire clearance for this race, anyways, if you're gonna ride those sections.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the pros are actually if they have full, if their cross bikes have the same clearance as our bikes are, if they still have more,
I think they have a tad bit more.
Because the legal tire size is 33 cc.
Yeah.
You're riding the legal size, but they probably still have more clearance there. Because you can see it just gets clogged right in the fork, right? So
and you see guys with the cantilever brakes, and it's just like a bird's nest back there. Oh man,
yeah.
Disc brakes are so good, guys. Go out there, come on. You're riding through mud.
Yeah, cantilevers will not work in the Bears Ancaster well. It's nice to see though, my hood when it's straight. Yeah,
in cross races too are mostly there. It's a lot of muddy grass. It's not mud, a ton of mud chutes. I don't think they have, as much of an issue, but I don't know. Probably a really good cross guy will tell me that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because I've never actually been in those races. You kind of see them on TV. I don't know how much of an issue it is, but there's a lot of grass and stuff, so I don't know how much.
I filmed the Nationals up in Peterborough, and I didn't actually really look that closely. I should really go back and watch that footage again, and I'll throw it up in a card or something up above so you can see it. But that was all frozen essentially at that point. There's still mud, but
it's not that big chunks gripping up and clogging up your frame.
Yeah, so it makes a big difference for sure. I think this is the power line mud slide here.
Yeah, this is where you're getting into that section.
This is
Yeah, this is the start of the last really good mud chute.
Yeah, so spectators must stay ready. You got the skull and crossbones. Yeah, this is kind of like the signature mud chute at this point here.
Yeah, this one was sketchy, but a lot of fun.
It's sweet too, because like if you have a second to look up, you can actually see the city skyline. Like I don't know if you noticed that, but
oh, there wasn't at this point. We were just screaming and hollering, riders coming through because there's people walking, and we were just. I didn't touch I was like trying not to touch my brakes, keep my speed going, and
I have this fear in the back of my head when I ride this section that you're gonna hit like just a bomb.
I was terrified, man. The whole time I was like, I'm gonna lose my front wheel in a hole and I'll just be gone.
Yeah.
Because there's a few times you'll see when you walk past here. There's a couple good sized logs that if you're not paying attention, it'll be messy.
Again, like our bikes too, they're only quick release, so they're not even a through axle.
No, that's.
On. And one of our trading rides, we went out and we were just doing the tight switchback section just before the Hermitage in the main loop in Ancaster, and riding up there, you powered your quick release right off.
Which I could have sworn I had it done up tight enough, but that was really weird. I've never had that happen to me before. I must have not put it on like strong enough. I don't know.
Tight enough.
But that just makes me want to through axle even more because it's like there's less chance that you're just not gonna have an issue like that or accidentally. I could have just bumped a stick or something and it loosened it halfway through and it almost jacked up my whole bike like 2 days before the race or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That would have sucked.
Yeah, so I mean, again, like I opted just to kind of fast walk through it as much as I could, and then got to the bottom section where it kind of dries out. And this was probably my favorite part of the race.
This was a lot of fun. Yeah.
This is where like the mountain biking side comes in, and you can tell who the mountain bikers are versus the.
Oh, it's huge! You can tell who came from a road bike and like are coming on here because they're terrified, white knuckled, and that's
what I got stuck behind, which I was a little bummed out about. And if you happen to see this video and you're the person in front of me, I'm sorry, but. I wanted to bomb through, but there was no option. You couldn't go on either side.
Yeah.
It was too like bogged down.
Yeah.
So I kind of got stuck here. I did manage to get by.
This was a soupy section.
It was soupy.
This was hard. I almost fell over here because my foot slipped off the pedal. And I was skidded out and.
Yeah, we're at an hour and 38:52 right now. Just coming out of the bottom of the last chute.
Yeah.
And then right here where it says steep downhill caution, I was just like, oh no, this is the.
This is where you catch up your speed. Yeah.
This is where I made some good passes. I mean, again, if it was more open, I probably would have let loose of the brakes even more. But.
And this is pretty rocky. It doesn't show it, but this is there's some good chunks of gravel there.
This is a shout out to GoPro's new stabilization built in because before this GoPro came out, I would want to murder anyone that I saw with a GoPro on their handlebars because all you see is shake.
It was
But this new.
It's incredible, man. It's so good. It's
so good.
It's like it's on a gimbal.
Yeah, because every other year I had to wear a chesty to get smoother footage, and this year I was like, I don't want a chesty on because like right at the end of the race in last year's video, I actually had to unclip because I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And this one, it's so nice having it right on there. So just stayed out of the way. It worked really well. But yeah, it was a pretty technical, rocky section for sure. Get down to the bottom here. We got this last tunnel.
This is a nice little sketchy corner, to go through that with speed.
Pretty loose, yeah.
You know
I made it through that one fine.
Yeah.
It was just like my casual ride.
Loose corner.
Yeah, that section just before there where you're coming off of Powerline Road and turning onto was it Highway 52?
Yeah.
So like I almost went right off the road there because I was coming down that hill and I didn't brake before the turn, and that was like
wait, how far back are we talking? Like Highway 2?
No, 52 right before you start coming into Mineral Springs.
Oh, okay.
Like you know how you come down the road and you make that turn past all the traffic that they stopped?
Yeah.
I almost ran off the road because I was coming through and I'm just like, I'm not hitting my brakes here. Let's see what happens. And I was just like, kept running wider. I'm like, if I bail in front of all these cars, I'm just going to die.
Yeah, they stop. Like, there's always cars stopped.
Oh, and there's a lot of people waiting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you give them some good entertainment and you'd end up with the road rash that I had or that I have right now. But yeah, that corner, I remember filming it back in like 08, 09 or something like that with my buddy Sean.
Yeah.
And watching, because we actually saw the pros go by. I mean, they are almost on their sides. Like, it was like watching a motorcycle race as they were taking that turn.
Yeah.
I felt like I was there, but I mean, clearly I wasn't going at the same speed, but that was a sketchy corner.
Yeah, you're going fast. You come down a fast hill, and then you have a right-hand turn, and you just can, that's where you gain so much speed on these races is just not breaking through turns if you can like get the confidence that there's so much grip on these tires.
Yeah.
Like if you get comfortable with it and just like learn your bike and how to handle it, you can save so much time.
For sure, yeah. Just at times you gotta watch your cornering for sure.
You're not really thinking about it when you're going into work. You're just
Yeah.
like, oh man, I got to ride into work right now. This sucks.
You know, no, I was actually like, yeah, that's a nice day. I'm gonna go right into work.
Go for a cruise.
I was totally like, oh, that's a good day, and then just didn't see the gravel there and just slid out.
It happens.
All right, so we're coming to our final turns on the street of Mineral Springs here, and you said this turn coming up sketches you.
Yeah, I don't like it because you can't take it. There's no inside line because the pavement's just awful around here. There's maybe a couple lines that you can actually take with any sort of speed.
Yeah.
And, you know, depending on who's around you. And it was a little bit like kind of like dusty and dirty. It was just one of those like kind of ones where I kind of eased through because it's like I didn't like it.
Yeah, for sure. And I always say, I don't know why, and I don't think they've ever done it, but I had it in my head that they actually move one of these rocks when you get.
I thought that too, yeah.
And they don't really give, so you have to go single file through there, and it's like, it's still tight. I mean, it was surprising that they didn't move it, but I think what really surprised me here on this lower section was how dry it was.
Oh man, it was like a nice relief because I was pretty bagged at this point. We were kind of coming through here, and I was just like, you know what, I got Martin Road coming up, and before this race, I've only ever made it up this climb twice.
Yeah.
In training rides. Like, it always annihilates me. I'm not a great climber by any means. So, like, whatever, I knew at this race, whatever it was between me and Josh, I had to get to this section first, and I needed to have a buffer. And I remember looking back, being like, okay, I have a little bit, I can't see him, but I expected you to be, like, right there.
So what was your final time? What was your finishing time?
My finishing time, I believe it was 146 or 147.
So you're 4 minutes ahead of me-ish, I think, because I would finish, 152. 152 I finished.
Yeah.
So yeah, you had some time on me.
I'm pretty sure it was 146 on the chip time. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I have to go back and check, but
you had like 6 minutes.
yeah.
I was looking at this time code here. Math is not my forte, but it's not that bad. But getting through, like this was all so dry, and no one was expecting it to be that dry.
No, it was a nice.
It rained the day before.
Yep. It was supposed to like rain this, like I couldn't believe it. It was supposed to snow. The day before, I thought it was going to snow.
It snowed early morning. Like I don't know if when you woke up, if you saw any snowflakes, but there were some snowflakes at around 7:30.
Oh,
and it
wow.
was cloudy.
No, I was still in bed at that time.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, well, we're going to ride it anyway. But this section here, this is the one that we always had to, doing all of our training rides, you always saw mud, so it was like you had
Yeah, and it was kind of like a nice break to seat here, but you just get, you know, at the end of the race, everyone's bagged, you just get caught up.
Yeah, because everyone got off and walked, but I was kind of like, I was a little frustrated, but at the same time, I doubt I would have made it up at this point.
Yeah, like I had to walk that section. I was just, I was redlining. I was just terrified for the last climb.
Yeah.
Did not want to walk that one.
Well, and this is where you're going to just start hearing heavy breathing the whole way from me.
If my camera was running, you would just hear grunting. I was full-blown Rocky. Where's that kid?
I think he's still behind me at some point.
Is he still behind you here?
Yeah, you can't see him at this point. Yeah, this guy screamed. I feel like that was the guy that we saw at Mech. I think that was the Mech guy.
Oh, was it?
I'm pretty sure. Because I just heard him go, ah, fuck. And his leg cramped up, and he just went down. And then I was just like, oh man, I think that was him, but I'm not really sure.
Man, there were so many people cramping up at this last climb. Like laying on the back, getting massaged by strangers just because like their legs are so jacked up. And, you know, it's the best. Like, it's the best when people send it.
Oh my God. Just send it always. But this hill is such like a...
It's steep, man. It's like a little punchy section. It's actually, I think, steeper than the final climb, but it just drains that much a little bit out of you.
Yeah. Oh, there goes the kid right there. Yeah. So after that first steep hill on the actual Martin Road, kid just takes off. And like, I thought that was the last I was going to see him. I was just like, well, all right, I'm getting beat by an 11 to 15-year-old age category.
Hey, man, those kids are wiry.
They are. I mean, he was clearly part of a club. So,
yeah.
Hey, that's good on you. I mean, it's still in my head. So if you're watching this, and awesome job, man. That's pretty solid that you kept up the whole way. Again, probably riding a lot more than I do. All right.
There you go.
No, yeah, there's a second climb there. Like,
yeah, there's like a second little one.
Forgot about that. All right, so let me just get up here. So now we're at the house at the final climb here.
Yeah, this is the start of...
All right, this is just hell. This is normally actually the first punchy climb that we just talked about. It's normally the point where I'm like, why do I keep signing up for this?
Yeah.
And again, every year we're like, oh, we're gonna do this 70K next year, and it's at that point I'm like, there's no way I'm doing the 70K.
Yeah, no, let's just do another 40.
Let's do another 40, and let's just keep doing this one here. I want to keep doing better
and better.
40. I think like I'm gonna say it now, so that once we both do it, we both have to come top 20.
Yeah.
If that happens, we have to go.
And this was the kicker for me because I was like, I was having a really good race, and if I had checked my cleats the day before and didn't fall off my bike, I finished 23rd overall. So like, if I was able to not drop that cleat, and there's a couple sections, I probably would have been able to finish top 20.
Yeah.
And if we were able to start on the start line, like right at the front, as far to the front as possible, it's like those are those positions that I'm trying to like talk about this whole time because you finished what 43rd overall.
Yeah, 42nd or 43rd, something like that. You were 23rd.
I was 23rd. Yeah, so it's there wasn't like there's a ton.
That kid William or whatever, he came 43rd, really close.
Yeah, so you know, it's like a lot of these small things and decisions you make throughout the race that really can make the difference between a 43rd and 23rd, because I don't really think that I was in that much better shape. I just kind of capitalized on a couple opportunities and maybe had an extra sprint in me, but that was about it.
And I had a couple of mistakes too, like
and turning around on that thing.
That turnaround killed me.
That was just pride. You wanted to ride the route instead of just taking what you had available. And there's the kid. There you go.
Here's the kid. Okay, we're at 150.48, and this kid, he just looks so casual. I don't understand it. Like,
yeah, he's sawing back and forth though. He's working.
I had to yell at this guy. Like at this point, you're so gassed you can't even like bring words out. So
yeah.
I'm like ah. That's my get the fuck out of the way. I'm not gonna make it if you block me right now.
If you stop me right now, I'm throwing your bike over this hill.
I think we just missed this other guy almost biting it hard.
Oh yeah. Oh, you went back way too far.
Let's get back to this guy.
Yeah, it's just past his turn. Right there. Oh, you just missed it. I thought he was gonna go back.
Oh,
just yeah.
So I'm slowly weaving through people. We're at again like 150, 51 here. The guy walking his bike. We've got the kid just cruising casually. Get my screen.
I don't know. It looks like he's working.
Now
no, because he heard you behind him. He's like, "Frig, I wanted to beat this guy this entire time." But I look at him. I can't believe he pulled that out. I thought he was just going to tip over.
He made it out of there.
Actually, him coming back stopped him enough that you were able to beat him.
I think so. I think that's probably.
I think you should find out who that was and send him a thank you card and maybe be on the Christmas list for the next couple of years.
No, it's because I was a better rider.
Oh yeah.
No, I did actually say to him, I was just like, man, good on you. I said something to that effect because I just didn't see what I actually said. So I was just blown away by this kid.
That's it, buddy.
That's it, buddy. That's all I got.
Like in your stranger danger voice.
Definitely was. That guy was stranger danger, though.
Oh, yeah.
That was a loud skin suit with a crazy mustache. Now it sounds like I'm giving birth at this point.
Yeah.
I'm giving birth to.
So just like, it doesn't have any stats here, but the Garmin says like roughly, I would say it averages about like 9 or 10%, but there's a section in the middle that's about, I think, 16 or 17% that is just like super pitchy. And for people that are out of shape, that might as well be the Alpe d'Huez.
For people who don't know what that is.
Come on, if you're watching this, you should know what the Alpe d'Huez is. Watch the Tour de France this year. Okay. I don't know if it's on there, but they'll talk about it.
I watch sections. I don't watch all of it. I'm out bike man.
Yeah, it's one of the most epic climbs. If you actually want to, there's a time trial. Lance Armstrong did it back in his heyday. It was a great time trial, man. You should watch that one.
This is why he won. I had like just a tiny bit to make it up to the very end, and I heard someone yell my name. I couldn't even, I was so gassed. We already flew by.
Yeah.
I just heard my name. I was like, didn't even recognize your voice, but I was just like, yeah.
Oh, man.
And then people got in the way because I was like, yeah, I should really keep riding so that my legs just don't, just seize up on me. And then everyone got in the way, and that kid still blew by me. He's, casual still.
Well, it looked like he still had some in the tank.
Yeah, he could have kept going. That whole ride, he was composed in the sense that he never really looked like he was dying.
Yeah.
He was very side to side, kind of wobbled back and forth. But I thought it was really funny here. I ran into my friends from Perry Sound Bikes.
Awesome.
So hang on, let me just get up a little further here. You'll hear Alicia, who owns the shop.
Hey, how are you? Hey, Scott, is Perry Sound Bikes?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna find a tree over here and just sit down for a second.
She's like,
just catch my breath. Oh look, here's a little spot I can pass out. Okay.
she's like, you sound like you need a minute.
No, I don't think you didn't find me yet. You were, I was there chatting with your mom and
Allie.
Gloating and practicing my shit-eating grin for when he came over.
Yeah, let's just throw that photo in right now. Yeah, it happened. I got
Well, there's always next year.
And I lost out doubly because I was like, no, man, you got to stay and get your medal for the Clydesdale.
Yeah.
Very last thing.
Oh my God, we waited around for an hour for nobody was left.
There's no one there to even care about your Clydesdale thing, and then
I didn't even really care for it at that time, but I'm like, might as well.
We had to get it for the video.
I got my medal.
Where's your medal?
I don't know. It's somewhere.
You lost your medal already.
I don't know. It's somewhere.
I was hoping that Allie would frame it for your birthday.
No, I'm not much for consolation trophies. It's either win or not.
You did win that category.
No, not the race though.
All right, well, that is our extremely long recap of the Paris Ancaster 40K. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you want to see more of these videos, I've got a couple others. Where are you pointing to? We don't know where they're going to go yet.
That's why I'm pointing everywhere.
Okay, fair enough. So we've got Pete's bike fit video, so you can actually see part of the reason why he beat me. It was probably a minor.
That helped. And a shout out to Anthony and Freewheel Cycle for getting me all set up.
You did say there was going to be issues with him if he didn't win the race.
Yeah, and you know what? Now he can sleep soundly.
He sleeps soundly at night.
Yeah, he can sleep soundly knowing that he helped somebody destroy his friend.
Yeah.
Life goals.
That's very true. Very true. All right, we'll check you back on the next one.
Take it easy.